Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the October 29th, 2024 meeting of the North Beach Planning Commission. We have 5 items on the agenda tonight. We also have to approve some minutes from the July 25th meeting. Is there any other business we would need to add to that agenda tonight? Anything expected, or does that cover everything? So first order of business is to approve the July 25th minutes. I was not in attendance in that meeting, so I will rely on others to comment or make any adjustments.
If you cannot vote, Jerome, then I don't have a form. We'll have to move them to the next meeting.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I have to abstain because I was not there. So, okay. Well, let's move those to next month's meeting. Then the first item on tonight's agenda is new business approval, 4114 13th Street. 3rd Street. Applicant is requesting to perform personal services, health, and a residence acupuncture. Do we have, maybe just to review this briefly, personal services health is conditional use in the W2 district, as outlined in our land use table. Required conditions need to meet all licensing requirements at the state, local, federal level related to that respective occupation, maintain a license in good standing, and number 2, must have a North Beach business license. So any questions from the committee on this? So this is a conditional use. Do we have any? I'm just looking at the application here.
Which building is that?
3rd Street, the
new one?
First building behind.
Yeah, the multi-use.
Yeah.
We have businesses on the bottom and residences on top.
My understanding, this is the business on.
So this is a business on the bottom.
Yeah.
They are also asking to be able to work out of her home, which isn't allowed use by our table.
I'm confused. Does she live at that address?
She does.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if she is online, but she is not here.
Okay. So I guess that's some of the confusion then. If this is a purely commercial property on the first floor of that building, or
Right.
but she's also inhabiting that same.
She also has an apartment above.
Okay. So, as this just gives the address, it doesn't give a unit number or anything. So then this, what is coming through us, is just for that usage for her personal residence.
Right.
We
The
wouldn't need
business
to.
was previously approved.
Yeah, we would. Yeah. Okay. Were there any documents submitted with this, or we don't need to review the actual
Her
documents?
business license and
It is here. I see it.
They
Okay.
included that.
I didn't see that at the bottom. Okay.
but if she is not online, maybe we move this to the end, see if she shows up, and I'll table it for next month.
Okay. I mean, on the surface of it, I don't see any issue with this, right? This, it's a conditional use. She's licensed by the state. License is current. I'm assuming she has or will be able to get a North Beach business license. But I assume she already has one for the,
She does have a current license, yes.
Yeah. okay. Is there a reason not to approve this as presented?
It's conforming as far as I can tell. And she's got the licensure. She already got the North Beach. I don't see a reason to not pass it.
I mean, the conditions have been met, right?
Correct.
So, if that's the case, I would encourage someone to make a motion to approve.
Application for personal services health. As submitted.
As submitted. A second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Item number 2, proposed commercial development concept review, 960 and 961 Chesapeake Avenue. Applicant is proposing commercial development consists of one waterfront facing restaurant of 3,500 square feet, 2 floors of commercial office space. It's in CM zone. Proposed development is permitted as outlined in North Beach zoning ordinance, land uses by district. Applicant is proposing this development as a concept review. Will need to present a fully engineered site plan prior to construction. Any initial comments or thoughts?
I just want to know where this fits in with what we saw previously.
Good question. Things have changed. Interest rates have gone up. We've experienced a pandemic. Development has slowed down considerably, and we have given serious consideration to trying to develop a concept that is consistent with the scale of the town, and the buildings that exist in the town. This is what you approved in the past. A 75-unit hotel and a 22,000 square foot shops building, 2 stories. We have given, like I say, considerable thought to downsizing the scale of the property proposal so that it's consistent with and blends with the new library, which is 3 stories, and a very, very, very positive contribution to the town by coming up with a 15,000 square foot building. You have it on the.
They should have it, yep.
We do have that.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a few minutes.
We do have it, but maybe for the rest.
But this is much smaller in scale. It's 3 stories. Total square footage for the first building, and that's all we're talking about tonight, which would be on the corner of 5th Street and Bay Avenue. Right next to the temporary Nick's food wagon. And it'll be 3 stories and considerably smaller than what we have proposed in the past. And I'm going to propose to move my office in the building. We have demand expressed to us from one of our tenants at the building that we presently occupy at 9120 Chesapeake Avenue. Excuse me, the Edward Jones facility. They're hiring more people and they need more space. They rent there. They want to come to this space as well. So I think this would fit in nicely with the scale that we're proposing. And of course, there's plenty of parking. It's well within the limits of height restrictions according to the zone that's in. And we would very well respectfully request your approval to proceed for us to build the white vanilla building. And at some point in the future, when we're ready for occupancy, we'll come in, get permits for the individual units as they're designed. We did the same thing with the office building at 9120 Chesapeake Avenue. We were allowed to build it, and then we went to the county and got individual permits for each of the condominium units, and eventually sold all of them. But it worked out very well, and we'd like to do the same thing here. Any questions, we'll be glad to respond to.
Sure. Standoff between, this structure and the library,
Sorry, standoff.
standoff distance between this, structure and the library.
Across the street. It's on the north side, the south side of Fifth Street. Incidentally, we've also proposed office space for most of the space, but one primary space at the first floor and possibly the second floor for a first-class restaurant waterfront view, which we don't have here in the town. And all the restaurants we have are very successful, despite the fact that none of them are waterfront, but we'd like to put in one that would be, respond to the needs of folks who'd like to eat and view the water.
This is at the corner of Fifth and Bay,
Yes, ma'am.
across from the visitor center complex.
That's correct, exactly.
And it takes up about what, half of the
It takes about 40% of the space.
street
between-
frontage on
Exactly.
Bay?
The width of the building is 78 feet. Let's see, along Bay Avenue, and the depth is 88 feet. As a matter of fact, we plan to move our office in this building as well and sell the unit that we're in.
So that's why these are open, essentially open plans or unfinished plans for the second and third floor.
That's correct.
And the first floor is almost fully the restaurant.
That is correct. At least the front of it is. The proposed first floor elevation would be 8.5 feet. Bay walk is 8 feet. We like to be a little bit more conservative because of the changing tides as we've experienced over the years, and pick it up a little bit. We've discussed this with Rick too. Rick, how are we doing with regard to that particular issue?
The 8.5 feet is probably gonna be right on the money.
Okay, good.
The issue we initially were concerned with, we don't have to worry about because of the type of building it is.
Good. If all goes well, we'd like to begin construction after permits are obtained during the spring of 2025. Again, there's a vast difference between that and this. And we just felt that this is overwhelming and this was too much for the town.
I mean, but in some ways it's very similar, right? I mean, obviously the style
Oh, yes,
is,
absolutely.
and what is being shown here is partially is part of that larger project, right?
Absolutely.
Same floors, it's just less extended inward on Fifth Street,
Absolutely.
a little less extended on Bay.
Yeah, it only
south.
goes halfway back on Fifth Street.
Okay,
And about 40% of the way on Bay Avenue.
Yeah.
And we like to complement this, seeing how positive this is in terms of the acceptance in by the market.
yeah,
Doing something similar to that in the second phase.
You can put parking directly behind that?
Or on the side of it, right now we've got 100,000 square feet.
Mhm.
So there's all kinds of parking, and we will segment it so that these folks will have parking as well as the public. And we'll have to work out a system whereby both are satisfied.
Mhm.
And by the way, that parking lot has been very, very successful. We probably do $75,000 a year, although it looks vacant today, and it is.
Hmm.
During the peak months,
Hmm.
during the first riders and that sort of thing. So, the demand for parking is intense in this town.
Mhm. I do like the turret look.
I think it fits well with the corner there.
Yeah.
So just in terms of access, I'm sure we've asked this you previous because it's similar design, but access looks like primarily from Fifth Street
Fifth Street, that's
Yeah.
correct.
because of the elevation.
Absolutely. Fifth Street and Chesapeake Avenue eventually. But not Bay Avenue. That's all prime space and that should have buildings on it.
Okay.
The outdoor dining is on the deck.
I'm sorry?
The outdoor dining,
Yes, it's on deck. Don't you live in Baywalk, this gentleman here? You live in Baywalk?
I do not.
Oh, you don't? I'm sorry. I thought it was a member of the, and I lived in Baywalk. That's-
Okay, and this is preliminary and then it comes in for permits.
We would have to come in for loading zones, things like that.
Right,
Approval
this is,
for
and this
regular
is,
site plan. So this would be concept review approval for the building itself and a restaurant on the first floor.
Yeah.
You would then propose the.
And
other
this allows you to
businesses at a later
Move forward with the county.
yep,
Yeah.
all right, and this is gonna be a category 2, right? Be commercial.
one.
Oh, it's gonna be 1.
Yeah, I think they've switched last time.
All right.
Well, Rick, did you say we can't proceed with the county?
Yeah, so if you're proposing to build and then do the restaurant to start with. I would have to do I'd have to dig and do some more research if you're just planning to build the building with nothing in it. But if the restaurant was going in to start with and then develop the commercial space above it later, that would be,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
but it still has to come back with a site plan for, like I said, the stormwater, sewer and water
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
loading zones, dumpsters, that, site plan review.
I just wanted to get your response to this before spending more money with our architect who'll come in with the
Yeah.
all the responses that you need.
I mean, for me, I don't have any particular questions or even response. I mean, for me, this is an adjustment to what we've already,
Yeah, we, yeah,
Approved.
yeah,
I mean,
it's a subset.
yeah, the design is exactly the same. It's just a smaller version of what we've already approved. So we've already gone over, it's plenty of place for parking and, if this can allow you to get forward with, permits. Yeah, no questions from my end. I don't know if anyone else has any.
No. So I'll make a motion to approve concept as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I make one statement?
Yeah.
I had a couple of drinks, so it's gonna be a little loose. But I've been appearing before this committee for at least 35 or 40 years. And I've always respected the way you approach projects, free of any political infiltration. And you say things as you see them, and I really appreciate that. And it's encouraged me to do more things in the town because it's always a fair treatment when I come before your commission. I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. I'm looking forward to dining in that restaurant, whatever it may be.
And I think the staff report, it's just a typo where it was item 4, item 3. I think when I was moving them, so that it formatted correctly, I probably just,
I thought
so it was, yeah, I didn't.
curious.
Yeah.
Whether that was the way the agenda was gonna.
So
go.
we'll go on the agenda. New single family dwelling, 3945 3rd Street. Yeah. Let's see here. Proposing new single family structure, permitted in R1, 3945 Third Street. Lot is not within critical area designation, not within FEMA flood plan. Lot is 50 by 75, totaling 3750 in the square footage. So if this is fully conforming, what are we approving?
Site plan and house plan.
Just a site plan and house design? Okay,
Which one? 39?
well, it's item 3 on the
Right.
report,
39.
which is after item 4.
3945.
And the site engineer is online if you have any questions.
Okay, let me just give us a minute to kind of review things. I'm happy to see they're not asking for any setback alterations on a 50-foot wide lot.
Agreed.
Mhm.
So was this an empty lot? Was it subdivided recently or?
It was already.
Already.
An empty lot.
Yeah, okay,
Property owner owns a house on the corner, but the lots were already individual.
okay.
Yeah, if you drive past, it's currently kind of sort of like a backyard for that house on the corner.
Okay.
Say the applicant's on,
Yeah, it should be Jeff from CLA.
he's there, and he can update stuff.
Yeah, please feel free to give us any details while we're reviewing this.
Hi, guys. This is Jeff Toole with COA Barrett. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing, Jeff?
All right, doing well, doing well. Yeah, really the only question that you guys possibly could have was with respect to, yeah, when the lot was actually created. It was cut up by deed back in the day before there was zoning. It goes back to predates 1961. They divided that lot in half along with the other half of lot 7. So it's, yeah, it was a vacant lot that's been sitting there for, 60 years or so now. So other than that, yeah, the proposal is to, construct the house within the, within the town setbacks with respect to the front yards, side yard and rear yard. As was mentioned, it's not located in the critical area or a floodplain, and we're not requesting any relief from any of the setbacks. So,
Thank you. Um,
Rick, this is Jared. I'm on here too as well. If you all have any more in-depth questions as far as that lot.
Yeah, page 2 of the site plan with the water quality management plan.
See it on page 2.
Sorry, page 9.
Thank you.
Were you able to find it? Top left of page 9.
The rank barrel graphic.
Yep, right above that, item number 3. Calls for 20 native shrubs and 3-foot wide, 6-inch deep mulch beds. And then the picture will show where the mulch beds are around the outside of the property.
So 15-foot setbacks on the front, 8. And 8. And rear. So there's no alley there. Right, so what's the minimum, 20 foot setback in the rear then?
Right.
Okay, I don't see it on here, but just on a visual, it looks
Right
to
here.
be 20. Is it on there?
Oh, where is it? Like here? Well, he's just showing you how
To this distance,
You know, he's gonna,
you're missing this.
I was gonna portion it now, yeah, that one.
This one.
We should be able
Oh,
to
that's-
see one.
That's the line.
No, it's-
Yeah,
Oh, I got you.
you know, this way, it looks to be 20, like if you just by scale, I don't think it's just delineated on here.
Yeah, if you look at the page 1 of the site plan, you'll see the words there along the rear of the house, 20-foot BRL. It runs coincident with that building restriction line. We didn't show a tie line there, which we should have because we put those on all the other.
Yeah,
That's
that's what was throwing me off. but
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all right. I mean, it looks pretty straightforward to me. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Planting schedule? Yeah. I'm
I
having
can't
trouble
find
pulling
it.
it up here. so.
I mean, yeah,
Rick, was that a note on this?
I don't see it either. I was relying on,
It's fine. See. You want to, right there.
We don't have a listing of what they are.
No, it'd just be native plants. Off the list, off the critical areas list.
How many trees are coming out?
I don't think. Well, it's not in the critical area, so they can actually take all of them. But I don't think there's many trees on the lot.
Rick, I can answer that for you if you can hear me.
Yep,
All right, I'm Jared. I'm John Scott's grandson. I'm the one that's doing the construction for him now. There's a total of 8 trees. 2 of them are and one of them is has to come out due to its I guess current condition, and there's 2 others that are dying, but it would be 8 total for that property.
8 coming out?
Yes, ma'am. But
How
as
many would-
as I was saying, is 1 is dead, and there are 2 more that are not far behind it. So it's
Mm.
I don't want to say that I'm taking 3 away from that 8 number, but we would have to take them out in a few years anyhow.
Mm. I mean, we would love to have one on the front of the house, just because you're right at 15 feet. You do have a driveway, so you've got a lot of visual and actual kind of solidness and impervious surface, so that I know there's not a lot of yard in the front, but if you could get some kind of height on it with a tree or height and shrubs on the front, I think that would soften it with the street a bit.
Absolutely. If you remember, last year when we were doing the Fifth Street houses, that are currently under construction, I promised you a tree
Yeah.
in their front yard. They are working actually, today, they were working on putting in, we had a section of the Chesapeake Beach, the old bridge railing, that's going to go in the front yard with a tree in the center of that. And I've requested our landscaper to plant 4 magnolias across the backyard up against that alley, just to kind of give ease to the amount of, I think there was only 2 trees on those 2 lots that were taken down. So there'll be a total of 5 going back in. But I'm 100% with you all on getting something to break it up besides just shrubs.
Yeah. No, that it'd be appreciated, and it doesn't have to be a massive oak tree. It can be a dwarf or medium sized tree, but something to kind of soften that flat front facade of the house with the street.
Absolutely.
Also, when you take out essentially 5 healthy trees, that's decreasing our tree cover for the town. So it would be nice to have maybe 2 put in somewhere. Just if you can fit them in rather than going all shrubbery.
Yeah, believe me, I'm all about saving what we can. The lot on Frederick and Third, I went through great lengths just to save that 1 tree in that front yard. But anything that we don't have to remove and things that we can replace out of that trail, I'm all for.
Yeah, that was a crepe myrtle, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. Just had them trim it up the other day, so I think it'll look nice.
Great. Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners?
Just appreciate you coming in and not needing anything. No variances. Nothing. It's nice.
Absolutely.
Variances are fine when you absolutely need them. If there's no more questions or comments, we could take a motion.
I move that we approve the site plan for 3945 Third Street as presented, with the nice addition of a tree or 2 to break up things in the front.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Appreciate the detail. Especially on your foundations and utilities and such. Makes it a lot clearer what you're trying to do. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Good
all.
luck. Okay, item number 4, new single family dwelling, 8832 Frederick Avenue. That may be, that is item 4. It's just, out of order on the list, but it's still noted as item number 4. Lot is in R1 zoning. Lot is within critical area. Lot is not within FEMA flood plan. Lot size is 35 by 150, totaling 5,250 square feet. some background here, August of 2023. 8834 Frederick Avenue was approved to subdivide and replat into 2 lots. The new lot, which is under consideration today, is 8832 Frederick Avenue, received approval for a variance of zoning ordinance, lot size and width, setbacks and height. Okay. The variances granted reduced the lot width from 37.5 to 35 feet. And reduced the side setback requirements from 8 to 5 feet. In May of 2024, the applicant presented a site plan and water quality management plan to the Planning Commission for approval. The commission approved the plan as presented. The applicant is now presenting a new architectural house design for the subject lot. The new house design complies with the previously approved setback variance. Okay. Okay, thanks. Those are great, great details, right? My only question is, I'm assuming nothing expires after a year? Is that any?
No, they asked for the extension.
They did.
So basically all they're doing is changing the design of the house, I believe. And he's here. I believe they initially were
Yeah.
gonna move into the home and they've decided that they're gonna, I think, build and sell
Yeah,
it.
we
So,
keep having more kids, so we gotta.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah, you have enough room for a couple of mine, again, because I got no space. Okay, so just to make sure administrative, everything's in order, right? I mean, it's still current,
Yep.
setbacks and everything still in place, so basically, we're just looking at a new design for the
architectural
house.
design.
Okay. Is the footprint the same or just the kind of the setbacks? Or
It's actually,
I'm guessing the, uh-huh,
So the width, I think, is the same,
yeah,
and it's slightly less.
okay.
So it's basically just architectural design change.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I don't, maybe I missed them. Is it just the 2 renderings?
Yeah, and this is just some more comments from the report here. New house design can be approved by the planning commission without a new site plan approval because proposal does not alter the site plan or variances previously approved.
Yeah, the previous approval is still good until May. So this is just architectural design change and the house fits within the same footprint.
Same foundation design?
Yeah, it's not that much more, so I don't think your foundation is gonna change at all.
The actual size of the house is different.
Slightly smaller.
This home has a back patio, so the footprint, I think, is almost the same.
I'm gonna need a foundation plan to go with the site plan. I mean, all I have is a rendering.
Yeah, I mean, is there a way?
It looks
just-
great, but I need,
Is there a way just to
We
include,
don't approve.
I mean, is there a
building
way?
extents are the site plan, so if you don't have a foundation plan to go with this new structure. I mean,
Is there a way we can just include the original one as part of this, like the site plan, just to?
I mean, if we're putting a different house, it's different. Isn't it?
I mean, I
I
don't,
mean, it is architecturally different house, yeah.
But if the house size has changed, then doesn't the information on the site plan change too?
He'll be, actually, he would be required for less previously, because he's gonna take up less space.
Can we get a sketch showing what it looks like in plan view? I mean, and at least I need that to overlay on what we already approved to say, okay, it's same. I mean, excuse me, I didn't bring the last case with us
Yeah,
from the previous submission, so I don't remember off.
That would, I can go back and bring that up. Remember?
Yep, I have it listed.
I mean, it does seem if it's different.
May 23rd, 2024.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not an issue of if we'd approve it or not, it's more of a procedural issue, just to.
Yeah, I would have been better prepared on that. I honestly didn't think that it would.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think this is gonna be any type of issue for us. And for me, it's more about process that if the footprint is changing at all, even if it's smaller.
We should have some kind of.
Yeah, I
architectural
do,
drawing to
yeah.
back that up,
Yeah,
not
that's
just
still,
photos.
obviously, we approved it before, it's small, we're not,
Put the footprint on there.
we're not gonna.
Thought it was.
Site plan from the last meeting.
Let me see if I can find.
I mean, this is correct, it's just these two renderings here, right? Just to make sure that I have.
I thought the actual interior layout and size of the home was listed as well. Let me
Yeah, because all we have are the
have that. I
two
just have to find
renderings
it, yeah.
of, yeah.
Thought I had attached them.
Looks nice.
I think the proposed zone is 42 feet. I should say the first one that I proposed today. And the new plan needs to be 40.
Okay.
I thought I had it in here.
Yeah,
I thought I had it attached.
for that.
No, that's good. Didn't come in with this package.
Yeah.
Top of your area.
Oh, yeah, we voted. And then we have to come up with.
What are you looking?
The layout for this plan, I thought I had attached it.
Layout,
Yeah.
right? This-
Yeah, no, the new one.
Yeah, I think that's all we're looking for is,
Something with measurements. If you Google mapped the 32, it's not gonna come up.
oh, that's right,
It's got, you have to do
yeah.
the 34, 80, 34. And then you can see this is the one that's going on the new lot that was created.
Here?
No. The time when Google Map doesn't work here. It's to the left of that house.
Was it a new lot created from here? No.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason it didn't load when I put it on there, and that's what I have here, but I'm trying to get it to. iPad is not allowing me to.
Replat, but it was non-conforming size.
So
Was it
we've
this
got a
area?
lot of stuff to ferret out there.
No, it's the other side of that house.
Here.
Yeah, where the driveway was, the driveway had to come out to build the new house.
Yeah.
This is staying? So it's here.
Yeah, I think the side variance was on the side by the house. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's the side of the front.
Got the house layout, but it will not let me, for some reason, it wouldn't let me attach it, it's still not.
Is there a way to just upload it separately or?
Well, unless you're better with the iPad than I am, I can give it to you, you can see if you can get it to work.
I'm not.
You see,
I mean, I'm fine even looking at this, like just to have, so it's this is
that's
the,
the first floor.
that's the first floor.
And
And
you can
then,
see there's no overhangs on the side, so it's. I don't know why it didn't attach. You see, it's part of that same plan. So I
yeah,
thought it was all on there initially.
but the site plan that was up here earlier, that was the original site plan.
That's the
that
one
was-
that, yeah, he's asking for the architectural change.
Okay. Oh,
You said it was skinnier?
Still 25, it's still. Same width.
You can scroll through here. So it's not the site plan, which I think.
So the smaller, what changed? The width or the length?
I think just the square footage of the home.
The length? So it's
There's a
shorter.
porch on the back, so the foundation is slightly longer, but that's because there's a concrete covered porch, not a living space.
It's still situated in the same place on the lot as the other one, correct?
I think I had it already at one time.
I messed it up.
Pass it back down.
Yeah. Sorry, Rick.
Yeah.
No, it got there. I was trying to go back and forth.
Yeah, like you can see it was all part of one package with the pictures. I don't know why, when I loaded it on there, it didn't all take.
So looking at, make sure that I was looking at those plans the right way. Does the second story go over the patio?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
So on here, it says the submitted site plan will not change from the previously approved site plan.
Only
Only
critical area,
Yeah,
stormwater management will all stay the same.
okay. But I thought we did say that the actual footprint is slightly different. the
It is.
longer one. So for me, I don't have any issue with what's being presented. And maybe you can answer this better, but I feel for administrative processing purposes for the town, that if the footprint is different, it seems like a new site plan should be submitted with that. Yeah. I mean, if the, you know, I don't have, we're not, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna speak for the other members here. I'm willing to approve this as long as that site plan is submitted to the town. I feel like it should be part of what package is submitted. Essentially, our job is to really approve the setbacks, make sure the house is conforming or not conforming and what we agreed to in terms of the setbacks.
So when he applies for the construction permits, that site plan will have to be adjusted
Yeah,
to the size of this house.
and my understanding is it's just on the depth, that's the difference.
And the
That's like,
difference is the extension of the patio on the back. The square footage, I believe, is actually smaller house.
Yeah.
There's a little longer because there's a porch on the back as opposed to a deck.
okay. So that's just me personally.
I think I need a site plan. I mean, it's
I-
a different structure.
Yeah.
I need the foundations redrawn or something. I need something more to go on than the renderings.
Yeah, Greg, in that case, can we just say I will adjust the plans to build the home precisely to the same specifications as the original site plan?
Well, but what, are you gonna build the house that we approved? I mean, I don't understand. The configuration you're asking me to look at today doesn't match. Okay, so
I'm just,
I understand what you're at. I understand, but that's not what's been presented.
I'm saying we can use the same plans. I'll just push the wall out 2 feet, the back wall. It would just be one small change.
Okay, but what,
So then it's just
so
the
what are you
architectural
submitting
change.
today? So why, I guess my point is if you,
Well, then he's
this
saying
was to submit to change the architecture, that you're already, I thought we were already approved.
Right, you approved the
Okay,
previous.
so he's approved to
architectural
go
design.
do what was already he asked for.
Right.
So, but this isn't because I don't have the adjustments on it.
We don't want to set a precedent of just like having somebody change their mind and come in and say,
No.
oh, here's what I want to do, but we don't have all the stuff that we
I
would
think,
need.
yeah, for us, I think it's fair to say that we can approve or disapprove things that are presented to us, right? Like that are in front of us at a particular meeting. And generally, you know, we don't have contingencies or promises to make adjustments to things, right? We kind of have to look at something and say, yes, we give it
I
a
mean, but he
yay or a
does
nay.
have an approved site plan. You can say he can build that house in confirmation with the approved site plan, which means he would build the architectural structure that looks like that. But the footprint and foundations would be the exact same as the previous home that was approved. He'll just build a bigger house that looks like that one.
I can only look at what has been presented, right? And so, you know, it's into, if he wants to change the design but it's the same foundation, I guess architecturally, that's not our call, but I mean, I just look at what the requirements are on our site plans, that's all. And certainly foundation limits are in there. So, I mean, if he wants to build this, he should bring in the package. It should not have many adjustments to it. Should be able to sketch that out pretty quick. And then he can go, because he's within all the other variances that have been approved and already there. Don't see if if the square footage for impervious, all that stuff should be afloat, but I mean, you're making adjustments to this. So,
Yeah, I would just, I respect all that. My challenge has always been um, to present a plan to you that is edited, modified from the, I'll call it the template plan. I have to buy the plan and then pay for the edits. But I would be doing that to present it to you all, say, well, we need this changed, or it's good as it is. But there's a risk in that process of me buying the house plan, paying for the modifications to present it to you all, for you to tell me this won't work, or we need something changed, and then I'll have to start all over again.
Well,
if that makes sense.
I look at it a little more bottom up, which is whatever you're gonna support that with is gonna change. So my point is, if, you know, I'm asking you to provide some sketch adjustment to your foundations. If you want to go and buy a different design package for the architectural or rather the stick-built piece of it, okay. But the extents of your site, your foundations, all the layout that you're not going to be able to take a foundation and hang everything out way over it, right? So essentially you give us that adjustment and I can go with the rest of the text, but I don't have that.
Yeah, and I apologize for that. It wasn't even brought up when I had gotten myself on for this meeting.
Okay.
I would need that. So
I go,
it's kind of
all I do is go by our articles. I already go through the site plans that you just tick through what we're supposed to look at. And so I'm not asking for the architecture to all come back in, but certainly if you're going to change the dimensions of the house, you're going to have to bring that in.
So
what
it's,
would I have to bring in again? I'm not.
well, it sounds like two options, a change to the site plan to conform.
You can do a red line adjustment on your current site plan so that it meets the,
To match, so your site plan, you can use your existing, modify your existing site plan to match what you have presented here today,
add 2 feet to the back of the existing one, same width, 2 feet in the back.
modify that plan,
Ordinance doesn't require them to submit
No.
footer plans.
or come back with some kind of architectural drawings that mimic the footprint and site plan you've already submitted, one of the two, right? Is that
Correct.
one? Yeah. So,
Yeah, because we saw one of the other ones come in today and we had worked on it a bit in terms of interior foundations, et cetera, to see if they're possible. So we, you know, take the time to look to make sure that those orientations are right. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a little more.
They can go through more and set up a time and get it redlined and get it adjusted and resubmitted. Once the red line adjustment's done and it gets approved here and stamped, and that goes, you can take that straight to the county because they'll have you redline it anyway, so,
Well, I'd have to come back here though, right?
no. Once we get that done and they approve the red line adjustment, then you can take that straight to the
No,
county.
I'm saying I'll be here again though for another.
Yes,
Yeah, I apologize for the trouble with part of our process in terms of how we approve things, and so, yeah, we appreciate you understanding of that.
I'm not sure I do, but I'll.
Well, I think the bottom line is what the two options we gave you are trying to address that as presented to us today during our meeting, when we make our decisions, that does not conform with what we approved previously. That has a different footprint than what was approved previously. Right? And you didn't submit a new site plan that matches with this. Okay, so that's, you know, we kind of have to, generally, people come to us, they give us the information, we, you know, in front of us, and we have to approve it as is, unless there's really, really extenuating circumstances. You know, promising to do something in the future is not something we can approve. You know, we have to prove what's presented in front of us, and as presented, that doesn't match what we approved earlier. It's close, but it doesn't. So that's the bind that we're in. So, and I apologize, I know it's going to cause you extra time, but we have to be kind of uniform in how we approve these things. Okay.
All right, so I'll make a motion, the request for 8832 is not approved. Expect a resubmission with red lines to show the building adjustment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 5 on the agenda. 9108 Chesapeake Avenue. New 3-unit multifamily structure. Applicant is proposing a 3-unit multifamily structure permitted in the CM area. The lot is in critical area designation, not in the FEMA floodplain. The lot is 25 by 150, equaling 3,750 square feet. The (9108) no lot size and width, so no requirements for multifamily development in a commercial district. Setbacks and heights. Is this correct, Rick? Setback and heights have no. Oh, okay. Let me share this. Setbacks should adhere to 10 in the front yard, 5 in side yards. Proposed project meets requirements for front yard setback. Site plan does not meet the requirements for side yard setbacks and will require a recommendation to the North Beach Board of Appeals. Is this building currently in place?
It is not.
It is not. That's what I thought. I thought it had been taken down. Okay. Current plans show a height of 37.2 feet and meet the requirements of the height restrictions. Proposed site plans provide 18% open space and meets the requirements of the ordinance. 4 parking spaces are proposed at the front of the development. Any questions, immediate questions from the committee, or would like to?
Why are we putting 4 parking lots in the front instead of putting them in the back where there's alley access?
So the alley access in this particular case is only 12.5 feet wide. And the ordinance clearly states I need to have 2-way traffic in order to provide parking back there. So it would definitely create a problem with back and forth with people. And basically we kind of mimicked the existing approved plan for 9106. That was previously approved and is under construction.
Yeah, that has 2 spots in the front.
Now there's
4.
Are there 4?
Same.
I
Yeah,
think there were only
proposed the
2.
Yeah, so we have the same setbacks.
Townhouse style.
2 what?
Townhouse style. One in front of the other.
Yeah, they're stacked. Like a driveway stacked.
On Chesapeake Avenue. So this would put 2 houses side by side with stacked parking in front on Chesapeake Avenue to the intersection of Fifth.
Yeah, between the Airbnb and the hair salon.
Oh, I know where it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I know the person who used to live in that house. So when they're stacked,
Hmm,
you would have somebody backing out onto Chesapeake Avenue,
yeah,
and I think that's a serious safety hazard.
You
Especially
have
if
several
you've got it.
driveways on that street there from Seventh to Fifth that back out onto. It wouldn't be the only, it wouldn't be the only
I'm
one.
not saying it's the only one, I'm saying
Yeah.
you've got two of them side by side, and they're on the other side of the house on the corner, where when you drive down Chesapeake, or you're coming down Fifth, you have no visibility of the traffic at that intersection. There are several accidents there. Does State Highway have to sign off on anything like that?
No, it's a town road. That road belongs to the town. That part of the road from First Street to 9th Street, 261 is owned by
There.
not part of State Highway.
Mhm.
isn't there a turnaround there? Yeah, oh no, you would have people backing out. I mean, this is a difficult,
Go further, I think you have another one.
nothing there, oh, kind of, they got a cut here, but, oh yeah. there's
Yeah.
one there.
And then you have one there.
Yeah,
Next to
definitely,
one.
here, same,
You've also
no, you
got
do have them,
a lot of curb cuts, and we're taking away more street parking. And if you've got 3 residential units that are 3 bedrooms each,
yeah, where's the other? one?
why is 4
Is
cars?
that here?
4 is not enough. That should be at least
Approved
6.
For another. One, is 9106 approved for?
Under construction.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah,
You have Raffets, and then the one that we approved previously, because remember, that's the one where he was trying desperately to get
Yeah.
access through the back, and it just wasn't happening.
I agree with you, line of sight coming, stopping at Fifth Street, trying to turn on Chesapeake Avenue is difficult. Once you take the curved parking away and put parking on our lots, you're actually gonna improve your line of sight, because what I've noticed is when there's no cars parked out in front of those lots, you can see perfectly fine. to the
If you're
north.
up in the crosswalk, because Raffets is raised.
Well, I'm in a bigger truck too, so, but I've
Yeah,
noticed.
in my car, you can't see.
Yeah, but I noticed when there's no cars parked there, you definitely can see to the north much better than when there's cars parked on the street, for sure.
Every time I've come out of there, there've been cars parked there.
Yeah.
I've never seen it without cars parked there. In all the years I've lived here, I've never seen it with no cars parked there. Is there a way to get around that back access? The other thing with, when I was looking at it, which page was I looking at? The one that has the drawings of all of the lots.
Talking about the hell.
yeah.
It's a little bit bigger scale than your laptop. Personally, I can't read plans on those little teeny screens anymore.
Yeah, see, this building is set back further than the one beside it.
So just out of curiosity, this here, is this the building under construction or the previous building?
That was the previous, our front buildings are gonna line up.
They will.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That, or, you know. I'm getting really uncomfortable with stacked parking. On
mean,
two
any-
adjacent
yeah.
25-foot lots, that,
Just curious, how do you assign parking for the proposed units?
How would you like us to propose?
No, it's more, I mean,
Yeah.
we're approving, if we approve them, we approve the parking spaces. We don't approve how they're assigned to the individual
Right.
units, and therefore I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
I'm assuming that we would assign one per unit and then the
Yeah.
other one be a guest,
Yeah,
or overflow or guest parking.
so then it's up to the people in the units to figure out how to get in and out of the parking.
There would be assigned, like I said, we assign a space,
Yeah,
you know,
okay. It seems, doesn't seem workable.
No.
Like if I, these rentals, I'm assuming there's rentals, right? Not condos.
Well, it will be condoed out, but there'll be rentals.
Okay. But if I'm in a condo and I am given this space, how do I get out? If someone has a space behind me,
there'll have to be something in the agreements.
okay,
and all you need is
Either with that.
one occupant who decides they don't like the other person and they're not gonna let them out.
I mean, that's not our purview, honestly, it just, it
Correct.
seems, we're approving parking spaces. How they're assigned is up to the owner, it's just, yeah, I guess my question is, you're asking for parking spaces and I don't really see how they're gonna be used properly. But as mentioned, that's. Yeah,
Even if we access from the back, it would still be the same problem.
I mean, you could divvy them up, I guess, you could put one or two out front or one in the back or something. You might be able to do 3 angled spaces, no? No,
I tried.
yeah, okay,
We know it's not the optimum use, but it's the best way to maximize the space.
that's what I would think.
Is there a restriction, Rick, for using that alleyway to, if they put one in the back and just go 2 in the front, 1 in the back?
I mean, we don't have anything in our ordinance about using it or not using it, but we have multiple homes with rear parking alley access in the town.
I mean, it's a turnaround space,
So-
right?
I guess is that considered a town easement or piece of property, or would it,
The alley's owned by the town.
are we at any, like, liability to semi-improve it if we have a rental property that's gonna use it?
I don't know. I
That's,
should ask the attorney maybe.
Right now, it's overgrown gravel. There is a gravel base on it.
But we have,
so that's,
We have-
I guess that's where I was
we
saying,
probably
okay,
have a dozen through alleys
right,
that have parking access to the homes in the rear, and the only access to them is on a town alleyway. I don't think it's ever been prevented from providing parking in the rear since I've been here.
I guess my concern would be, so if we request they readjust their parking to 2 in the front, 1 in the back, am I obligating the town
To
to
maintain that.
semi-improve that
Yeah.
access?
And if there's a foot ditch or something that happens after a rain and they bust a rim.
That's, I guess that's what
Are they gonna,
no offense, but the other spaces I don't have to do that, so.
Yeah.
but the layout with 4 spaces conforms.
Okay.
They definitely have I went through the stormwater counts, so.
Yeah.
They certainly did all that.
The,
Yeah, the
I-
planting plans on a separate cover because it just got too cluttered on there to show everything.
Yeah.
what are the requested setbacks?
The north setback's 2.5 feet and the south setback's 3.5.
3.5. And do you know what the setbacks are on on the property to the south?
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. So you will have 5 feet then between the two.
We'll have 3.5 and 3.5. That's at 7. My math skills would go down.
Okay, I thought you meant they mirrored each other. So I was adding 3.5 and 2.5 to make, that's
Yeah,
not
so-
5, is it?
So the stairwells are actually gonna be facing each other, so there'll be 7 feet there. So
Okay.
that will be the public access way to the stairwells to the units.
Okay,
So we kind of made the decision to make that a little wider, so it's
oh,
more
I see. So the stairwell on the southern unit
on the north side and our stairwells
on the south side, so they match up. Okay, okay, so you'll have the
They might not
pedestrian.
Exactly back to front, but they,
Yeah, it'll be.
It'll be-
notched over
it'll
that
be-
way.
it'll-
so there'll be
okay.
2 sidewalks side by side.
Okay,
So it'll be a nice pathway for
Right.
furniture moving and
okay. So
Logistics.
total width will be 7 feet
yes.
going through there.
Because to the north is the Airbnb,
Hmm,
and they've got a driveway there, so from I was gonna
Yeah.
reduce one setback, it'd be
Yeah.
to the north where there's more airspace.
okay. And is that a fence all along that property there on the north side
Currently,
of this?
there is a chain link fence there,
Yeah,
and we are not proposed one at this point. It's
okay,
in pretty bad repair. If we do something, it's gonna be something low.
okay.
There's a row of trees there as well that you may need to trim for the neighbor.
You said there was a landscaping plan?
Yes, ma'am. It was in the water quality. If there's a copy of it. There's 2 trees in the back, and then the rest is bushes. 4 rain barrels that feed into those rain gardens, or whatever you want to call
What kind of bushes?
them. I think in the front, I was looking at the different types of grasses, something that stays low growing because of sight view and all that other stuff, like below your door. At least the ones along the driveway. We haven't finally picked the plants, but they will be native plants.
I'm sorry, I haven't gotten to the landscaping, but all you're talking about, it's all just, again, I am concerned about just the visuals from Chesapeake Avenue about having 50 feet of concrete parking there. And just the like street appeal. And so anything that can be done there, obviously without causing a safety issue for traffic. But you know, it's not gonna be an appealing look from the street, because you'll literally have a run of 50 feet of concrete for 8 parking spaces. I don't have the other approval in front of me, but anything that can be done. I mean, because currently there's no trees at the sidewalk. Or anything else, so. It's gonna be stark, is what it is. Are there any plantings against the building? There are. Okay,
Be in front of the porch. Might be able to put something like a taller arborvitae or something on the corners or something to give it some visual.
yeah, I mean, the issue is,
There is not any real space, like you said.
I mean, even what's presented here really, I don't know if that could be done, you know? You're gonna have cars coming out, yeah, I assume these are shrubs
Yeah,
or
this-
something,
Like the 2.5 feet that's gonna carry through,
yeah,
because
But-
the parking spaces are only 18 feet wide.
yeah, but even these are gonna be a visual impediment to, you know what I mean, somebody backing out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right here, so I don't really know if that's possible.
Yeah, there's always a trick in balancing the water quality management, site distance. Probably specify those first like 10 feet of bushes stay under 2 feet or something.
Yeah, I think they'd have to.
Yeah.
It's either that or try to get something tall, like a dwarf tree that, you know, all the foliage is up high or something. I don't know what the,
Yeah, with that 2.5 feet, I don't think there's enough room really.
any questions from our side?
Where did we land on?
I mean, we're just procedurally due to have one parking space per unit, is that right?
It is determined by you, according to the ordinance, there is no
Is
set.
it? Oh, why am I thinking that? Is that,
You think in single family residential is 2, but there's the ordinance, calls for you guys to approve parking according to site plan.
But your past recommendations were 1 per unit. That's probably why you're thinking that.
but we've also approved without parking in the commercial.
Yes, in CM, yes.
Yep. Yeah, like John Scott's property on Third Street.
Yeah.
No, I'm assuming there's gonna be a Hatfield McCoy shootout at some point on
Any day
Third
now.
Street. I drove by the other day, the cones have grown to like
Oh, those are the bollards,
walnuts,
the
yeah.
bollards. They're hard.
Wow.
Um,
Who's putting those out? I don't know, we'll talk about that anyway, but yes, that's, it's
A different subject
an
altogether.
issue, but just for what we've approved, that's one of the, you know, his property, right behind Baywalk.
Yeah.
That first one was approved, but that was presented that way without parking.
Correct.
The thing is how parking is such a serious issue now in town. Is there a reason that we cannot change course?
And
I mean,
Interesting.
realistically speaking, if you've got a 3-bedroom unit There is a potential for 3 cars in that one unit.
Yeah.
It could be handled with a lease. You can require specific parking in your lease, and we could do that, whatever you guys decide in that sense.
Well, I understand that, but the reality is, no matter what your lease says, okay, so one person gets to park there and the other 2 are set loose on the town to find parking someplace else.
Why would we look at it in a negative way? In that sense, I think we're,
Okay, if you have in your lease for 1 3-bedroom unit, okay, there can only be 1 car for this unit. But you've got 3 roommates in there and they all have a car. That means one of them gets to park there and the other 2 people have to find someplace elsewhere to park.
rented in that situation.
I mean, I think that's the nature of a town
Right,
versus. you know,
But right now, we are in a crisis with parking, especially in that area. So what do we as planners do when we see that we've been doing something that really isn't working?
Well, you have focused the concentration of your development in that MC district. That's
Mm.
what the purpose of the MC district is. I'm not trying to speak for
Yeah.
like, are you guys as planners? I love this town. I love working with you guys. We're trying to develop with the town in the districts that it has put out there. So it is gonna be more congested in the MC district. That was the whole purpose of creating the MC district down there.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, these are the kind of the restrictions we've been put upon. I see your point, 100%.
I'm just tired of hearing people complain.
Yeah. I think the town is in the middle, kind of stuck in a middle period right now in terms of growth,
Right.
in terms of it's not big enough, it's not dense enough where people have a sense of not needing to have a parking space for every unit. We're still at a density where people feel like there should be
My
one.
suggestion would be that the planning commission make recommendations to then change Article 5202, parking and loading space requirements. And that section reads, in all districts, space for parking, loading and storage of vehicles off-street shall be provided as follows. In R1 and R2, when developed as a 2 spaces per dwelling unit. In all others, it is subject to site plan review and approval. There is no requirement for any specific number of parking spaces.
So that means we get to decide how much parking is required, correct?
We can for the.
Most other jurisdictions only require 1 per apartment building. Including the
They have
county.
apartment buildings on 25-foot wide lots. See, that's
Yeah.
where the issue is, because it's such a narrow lot. And as it is, there's 1 on-street parking spot that will be gone because of this development. So right off the bat, we're losing a parking spot.
Yeah.
And we've already lost the one next door to it. So there's 2 parking spots right there. Plus, we're gonna have 2 side-by-side curb cuts there. And I don't know how to fix this, but we have a serious problem with our sidewalk and curb cut and the ability of people in wheelchairs to navigate the sidewalk.
Hmm.
I mean, I try and navigate strollers down the sidewalks, and you're going along like this, and then you go like this, and you go like this, and then you go like, And it's hard for people with physical issues with knees and walking and stuff to maintain balance when we have this overabundance of curb cuts. So here we have something that has some kind of back access. And we're not using it. And that's where I'm coming from on this. I mean, there's some sort of access back there. Is there a way to make that work for the parking rather than putting it out front and adding more people backing out into traffic and adding another curb cut that's going to make navigation of the sidewalk difficult?
As we just, I think that would be great if there was a way to do that. But with 12-foot wide, that means you have to provide a way for a vehicle to turn around on the property, not in the alley, right? Either that or you're asking a vehicle to back up whatever that distance is.
50 feet.
Yeah, 150 feet, which is not reasonable, right? So unless I'm missing something, it seems like if that was an option, that car would need to be able to turn around on the property
coming down that street.
To do the permeable pavers and still be able to have the 4 spaces or have or whatever, how.
Well, I would recommend you not go to the 4 spaces. I think that's getting a little bit crazy in there. So you have three apartment units, so you're gonna have parking for 2 and you'll have to work an accommodation for the other one. That'd be my recommendation. Because we're really starting it's getting a little bit crazy along that road, if theoretically, if everybody comes in as they can. And again, without us we have purview to do or make those kind of adjustments, would be my recommendation to get this thing through here.
So we do the 2, we do the permeable paver, and then we would be.
And we have to go to you're gonna have to go to the Board of Appeals to get your side setback. I think that's in the write-up, so we gotta get that done. So it gives you a chance to maybe to think about some adjustments here we're talking about. When you come back in, we can.
I was hoping you guys would be able to approve this subject to the Board of Appeals, since it was exactly the same as previously approved.
Does it conform now? Does it conform with 4? Or are you saying that you're gonna make a judgment to change?
We can make a judgment to change it.
We can approve it pending those changes.
So we can make that work. We would do 2, and we would do.
Part for people.
Just out
Yeah.
of curiosity, if did Russo give any pricing on, and this is not really our purview, I'm just curious from a.
Don't give us a number, just the ability, just no number, just the ability.
Yeah, I mean, but that seemed,
Very interesting number. I just.
yeah, that seemed to be realistic. I mean, the numbers that he gave you as a landlord, are they within the realm of realistic, something you could present to a renter? Yeah. Okay.
I have a question though about that. 5-204, location of parking spaces, accessory parking locations, section A. Under provisions of Article 6, the Planning Commission or the zoning administrator may approve a parking plan that permits the required parking to be located elsewhere under the following conditions. Number 1, such required parking space shall be located on land in the same ownership as the proposed use, or there shall be a binding covenant in the deed to assure future availability of the parking space. Would that,
But that's also at odds
do you think?
with our purview related to approving the site plans for parking. Right?
this is what's in here.
I understand that's been in there for
Oh, well,
2.5
still
decades.
there.
I guess what he's saying is it's either 2 parking spaces or 4 parking spaces. You can't put in the record that we have to get parking somewhere else. Or is that not what I'm reading?
Well,
That's
that
what-
probably got put in with the departure from parking and loading.
I think there used to be way back as a fees in lieu for parking.
That
That was part of the,
Yes.
I
That-
helped write that section.
I
so
told you
now-
that used to
I
be in
know
there.
Yeah, it used to be in there, but this piece, and I can understand why it's there. Because if we're approving parking that's not located with the actual building, then shouldn't there be an obligation to make sure that that parking remains available? I'm looking for an answer. And maybe that's a legal thing, I don't know. I mean, I think it's great. It would solve
So the
things.
parking that he's talking about, you've already approved 9106, the 4 parking spaces.
I don't
so-
remember it being 4, but okay,
So that one is approved.
right.
So if he does an agreement with Russo, that's outside of the boundaries of you basing his site plan on.
Right, but
that
I'm not
ordinance.
talking about his. I'm talking about what's right in front of us right now. And there's a proposal to OK2 and say, get another one someplace else. So does this provision right here cover that, get one someplace else?
I mean, it would, but I cannot foresee, I'm not gonna say that he would not do that. I do not foresee Mr. Russo giving a deed to a piece of property for a parking space.
Well, I would look at it differently. I would look at this as we are not requiring the 3 spaces and therefore are not requiring a binding covenant on another property. In the same way, we did not require parking for Scott's property on Third Street, right? So,
I was not here for that decision.
yeah,
I would have had a lot to say.
yeah.
So we're just proposing 2.
Well, it'd be good to get some feedback from you as well, in terms of what would work as potential landlords and so, and that's why I asked you a question earlier about why the parking spaces were being proposed. Were they being proposed because you felt you had to have one parking?
Well, we felt that there
Yeah.
was a precedent set by
Yeah.
the anguish that Mr. Wilkins went through.
Sure.
And the many reiterations trying to make the parking work. And I was like, well, if we do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It was already set a precedence there. We have a fairly good chance of it working for the
Yeah.
town.
I mean, I take a little bit different tack maybe than others here. I feel like the town is becoming more dense. And the idea of having parking spaces for every bedroom in the town, or like, I'm not, especially right in the downtown area, I think it's generally not feasible. And at some point, you're gonna have to say, well, we have less parking if you live in this part of town than if you live on the backside of town where single family residences are. If you think of an apartment, and we're not Annapolis, but I don't know, if you think of, just as an example, you don't require a parking space for every unit.
Right.
So I'm a little bit different in that. I feel that those things can work themselves out in some way. People that would come to rent from you would know that, oh, I have to lease a place across the street, or I have to walk a block or something, and that can become the norm as well. So that's why I was asking the question, as landlords, do you feel like you have to provide on-site parking, or is it more of a,
No.
No,
We want to work within the confines of what works for you guys too. I mean,
Yeah.
we've done several projects here
Right.
in town, and the goal really is to work with you. Like, we're not trying to work against you. We're not trying to change something else. We're not trying to, just the projects that we've done before, we've worked and done everything that we want, and everything that we can to conform to whatever you guys want the town to be. Because I love the town too. I don't live here, but
Yeah.
I love coming here.
A lot of time here.
so for us, we're trying to balance immediate needs with longer term needs. And longer term needs is town is gonna get more dense and more dense and more dense. And 15 years from now, parking, I think, for the downtown area, the commercial district, probably won't be an issue, like on-site parking. I mean, off-street, on-site parking. But we have to contend with the issues now that we don't have a lot of other parking. We don't have a parking garage, right? So we don't have some of the options that you might find in downtown Annapolis, or, we don't have transportation hubs and other things to support people without a car. So trying to balance these issues. Yeah. Any thoughts from other members here on how to work with this?
It's a 25-foot wide lot.
Yeah,
I mean, there are only so many things you can do.
I,
And when you build on most of the lot, that limits space that's available to provide parking.
well, I think the nature of a 25-foot wide lot, regardless of, I mean, just like in the rear, there's space in the rear, but you have to be able to turn around or have a full street, to do that.
Mm.
And with that size lot, you don't.
I even looked at the option of one way in through Chesapeake and out the alley
Oh, like a. That's right,
underneath the building.
yeah,
Do a raised up
Yeah, yeah.
situation, and there just is not the width even with the 45-degree. I mean, there was just no way to make the parking work because of the stipulations and the sizes of the parking and everything. Because they do that in Annapolis too. You've seen like medical
I
buildings.
have, yeah, yes.
Buildings raised up. I looked at that and it's just like, that just doesn't fit the town either.
Like the library did with the parking underneath.
Similar, but like I said, that's a bigger space. So,
And there's still no room to turn around
exactly.
in that narrow of a building.
If you have a compact car, you're okay.
So how wide does it need to be? Or lane?
Turn around?
No, if you,
So
if
the
you go,
lane-
if you go in off Chesapeake,
The lane is 12. The travel lane is 12 and the parking lot if it's one way. If I remember correctly, I'm going off the top of my head here because
Yeah.
it's been a minute since I looked at that. But then you put a parking space that's, was it 18 feet long at a diagonal, it ends up being wider than what's,
what if you parallel park?
I tried that too. But then you only end up with 3 spaces in there that, and you have all this excessive construction and then we're over the height restriction and then it's a balance, right? And it would not look good.
Do what you propose, or you still be pipe stem, like parking, like whether it be stacked parking, right? For two
Yeah, but
on one
you
side.
know, then I'm not 4 and 4.
Yeah, no, I think that's better.
I mean,
Yeah. Hmm. How do you think on the, as presented with 4 spots there? You had some concerns about,
Say,
yeah.
back parking is not safe then.
Yeah, no, I agree. You could have a situation where if, say there were potentially 4 cars on the southern property, and you could be backing out with cars on both sides of you onto Chesapeake. I mean, it's not ideal, for safety. And then the idea you brought up, I do like that in terms of just minimizing the traffic coming in and out of there, but it's still gonna be 2 stacked parking spaces, and I question the utility of that. You know, as well. In
Yeah,
terms
we
of
can
it.
require rear parking. So that
Oh, they back in.
they're required to back in. And they put signage up to that effect.
You do a V here, you couldn't do a V, could you? Like opening here and I don't know, spot here, spot there, something like that. My scale is way off.
yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't, you're
No.
tight, 25 is tight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
Really. You have to,
So you can't fit them side by side.
Or 2 spots, like say if you did the here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Part of me feels not even required.
pardon?
Part of me feels like,
Yeah, I know, but it's, I think we're not at the point yet.
yeah, no, I know.
Where the town's ready to go ahead and for us to approve a structure like this, 3 apartments with no, not even a planned accommodation for the park. So I think we have to, you know, we gotta do something along these lines.
You couldn't do 2 side by side?
What do you mean? It's 2 here in the front, so all concrete, but then you just have the 2 side-by-side spots here. So essentially what they presented, but just with just two.
Rear parking, you know, pulling in, backing in, so that they're pulling out. I think that would be, I mean, it's not ideal, but I think it would be a little bit safer that way.
Either way, they're gonna be backing into traffic.
Yeah.
Not if they're backing into,
They're gonna have to stop and then back up the opposite direction of
Yeah.
the road to get into the parking space.
Different than if you were doing a parallel park or.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Yeah. it's
Either
a
way.
parking System thing, but
either way, getting in and out is basically, I mean, it's,
the state highway has no say over anything that we do on that street.
no, we can do the park. We don't have to contact them for that. We were just doing the working with the council on the parking proposals for the streets and all. Our maintenance agreement with them gives us the right of way from First Street to 9th Street on 261.
So we can throw a stop sign up. That's it.
Oh, I would love that. That would be great.
That would slow down Chesapeake Avenue.
So
I
what-
do that intersection.
I mean, we could talk to Public Works and the council, that's above my pay grade.
Well,
No, I like
I
that
am
solution. Yeah.
State Highway had to approve that.
That's before we got jurisdiction, because otherwise you wouldn't have had all those, bump outs on the main road. Highway wouldn't have let you do that, so. Well, plows hate them too.
If the plan was approved as presented, how do you feel that this would work with your tenants? Like, would you, like, I'm still trying to get a sense of if, one option that we're discussing here is essentially approving as presented, but for 2 parking spaces, right? Instead of having the 4 there. And for me, I'm a landlord myself, and, you know, for somebody to rent to somebody and say, well, you have a parking space, but it's actually you're backed in by people potentially any time of day you need to go out. That's not really a parking space. You know what I mean? Like, you can say, functionally, it's not a parking space. If somebody can block you out, who then, you know, is out drinking down at Neptune's for the afternoon and their car is there, it's not really a parking space. If somebody's going to be able to block you in, right? So functionally speaking for here, unless you'd have 2 spots for 1 unit, like say if you had the 4 there, you give 2 stacked spots to 1 unit, that I see as doable. And maybe 2 stacked spots for the other unit, maybe that's doable, but to divide them amongst 3 units doesn't seem like it would work. And so I get the sense from the commission that some parking would be good. I don't know if 1-on-1 basis for each of the units is absolutely necessary. We're trying to balance this with the amount of traffic and flow coming out of these spots as well onto Chesapeake Avenue. So
What you just described.
Yeah, I was gonna
We do
say, I
2
like
on-
the
2
2.
on one and 2 on another, and then we designate another space somewhere else.
yeah. I mean, for us, as I said, we would approve it as presented, and then you as landlords can figure out how to manage,
How to fit them.
how to fit them. So for us, it's just about, you know, approving the number of spots, and the functional part of this, of how cars get in and out as best we can. Yeah. It's a really tough call for us, because even as say, by putting any parking here, we take at least 1 spot off the street, 1.5 kind of, sort of, but you know, it's at 25 feet. So you're automatically losing 1 spot on the street. So that's,
If you did the 4, you lose the 25 feet, but you're gaining 4 parking spaces, so you're really not losing anything. You're gaining 3.
you're gaining 3, yeah.
Minimum parking space is 23 foot long on
23,
Chesapeake
yeah, it's
Avenue,
25 foot.
25 foot wide lot. But if
Yeah.
you take that 1 parking space away and put 4 in front of there, you're actually up plus 3 parking spaces now in town.
Yeah,
You're gaining 3 spaces, not losing 1.
but you're increasing demand. Well, above and beyond this, so that's part of the math as well. right?
So right now, well, one thing we do have to do is make a recommendation to Board of Appeals to take
Yeah.
the package as submitted. And we can put in there, that when they bring it back after the Board of Appeals, we could look at it quickly if we have some better ideas or different ideas on the parking. I would like to see
Yeah.
a look at the permeable pavers, because again, I just don't want to see slab after slab up and down that.
That's 100% doable.
Okay, and then I think that'll really, in my mind, again, you know, I went through the stormwater and then looked through it all looks good, but man, it's tight with all the plantings. So I'd rather have something that you're gonna make easy day than us be that close to the mark. especially with the foundations, because you get little strips of green and all that that factor in, and depending on how that all works out, does anything really actually survive? So, my recommendation, I'm gonna make, I think I'm making a motion here. Make a motion to, approve the site plan, or rather, that we recommend the site plan to Board of Appeals, for the side setbacks. And upon Board of Appeals action, submit an alternative to the pavement and a final parking layout.
You make a recommendation for 2.5 feet and 3 feet.
Right.
Yeah, we're fine. We're all fine with that. That's
Okay.
not an issue. And this does come back to us after Board of Appeals, correct?
You have questions, and you need to see it again, yeah?
Yeah.
You have approved some previously that you were fine with, it didn't need to
That
come
didn't
back,
need to
but
come back.
I mean, obviously you've approved from 0 to 4 before, so somewhere in between that, what best suits this property is the trick, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
yes, I think that would give us, so restate your.
Thank you. Okay, so, yeah, make a motion to, submit the, 9108, permit package as submitted to Board of Appeals for the side setbacks. And I think, what were the numbers, Rick, on that?
2.5 feet and 3 feet.
2.5 feet and 3 feet, and, to have another meeting after Board of Appeals action to confirm number of parking spaces and, an option with permeable pavers, if you can make that work.
Questions, so meeting of December.
Should be.
So it'll be,
Oh,
Board of
that's
Appeals
on
will
the
be
28th.
November. So there,
That's what I
I'm
always
just saying,
forget.
are we getting pushed into January now?
We'll have to, let us get back to you, because November and December are the holidays, like the Board of Appeals in November is 25th is the week of Thanksgiving. I gotta make sure I have a quorum. So,
And that's what I was worried about.
yeah,
But I mean, if there's an item on the agenda, we'll have a meeting.
like their meeting.
So,
is
we just have to
December.
adjust the
We
schedule.
just might have to adjust the date, but
Yeah,
if,
like we
if
did
there's
this
something
week, yeah.
on, yeah, we're not
Okay.
gonna, yeah,
Yeah, we appreciate that a lot.
we'll just make it, I haven't looked at the calendar, so.
So just to
Yeah.
clarify, are we saying we're gonna do parking? We just have to figure out what that, whether it's gonna be 2 or 4?
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
on this question.
Just wanted to make sure that.
But this will be decided to get to the Board of Appeals, get that stamped. And we'll work on something, and we're open for new ideas from you as well, I think, come back on that,
Question on the alley hypothetical.
yeah.
If the town doesn't improve it, would you allow owners to improve it? Would that resolve the issue of the liability?
That's
Like a
above-
public-private
Yeah,
partnership.
that would have to go to the council for, it's because it's town-owned property, so nobody here can make, yeah. That would have to go to our legal review and
Yeah.
to the council.
Or does it, I mean, does it have to be improved? Is my question. Because why I bring this up is there are people that park in the alley, not in the alley, but use the alley for access.
Would it have to
In the
be
same
improved in
way.
order to be used for parking in the rear? No,
That's my point.
No.
Okay.
no, but like I said, that alley is very similar, if not
Yeah,
identical to every other alley we have in town, and then like I said, there's probably a dozen, maybe more homes who have rear access parking off of the alleys.
So it wouldn't even have to be.
It does not have to be improved, no.
so it can be used as is. Yeah. So maybe there's an option in there somewhere.
Point of clarification.
Mhm.
So according to the motion, this is just going for the approval of the variance, and then it's coming back for another approval from us.
Yes, to resolve this parking issue. All in favor?
Aye,
Aye. Okay,
thank you. That's,
yeah, thank you for this. Sorry, we,
tough spaces to work on. No, it's just that they're
Uh,
very tight lots and,
No, I agree.
but
It was,
appreciate you working through the problems on these.
yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
believe me, I sat down with this thing for hours and hours and hours trying to figure out some other way.
are we good?
That's it. Maybe somebody needs to make a motion to.
Any other business? For the good and the,
We thank the attorney too for showing up tonight for
Thank you.
an exceptionally long meeting.
yeah, thank you. This is unusually long meeting, so we really appreciate you being here.
No problem. Section 5 and working on that.
I'm more than happy for us to try and schedule a work session for us to, if you want.
Because the fact that we've deferred it for so long has just multiplied our problems.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that.
I would.
Somebody will make a motion to close.
Motion to close? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The August 29th meeting has concluded. August, did I just say August?
You said August.
Jesus Christ.
October.
October.